second presentation. Thank you very much for your kind invitation to present some aspects about the German development and green economy issues, especially against the background of the transformation of the German energy system, what is called normally the Energiewende. It's an international standard. We have this phrase also, the German phrase Energiewende. And first I give a short introduction in the theme of green economy, and I will explain the German and the UN definition of green economy. I will give also some hints about innovation theory and the German sustainability strategy and the UN sustainable development goals, our new developed green economy innovation model, and measuring innovation with sustainability indicators, and we developed recently the Green Economy Innovation Index to get an idea on which part of the transformation Germany, and which part of the Germany is on the transformation process. And I will start with the front page of Harvard Business Review, and you see that in 2009, shortly after the Lehman crash, the Harvard Business Review would discuss how green economy and how green issues will save the US and the economy after the crash of Lehman. And you can also see there are different headlines from different years of the Harvard Business Review, that how sustainability is now the key driver of innovation, recycling for profit, integrated sustainability into healthcare, and creating value in an economic crisis. This was an article officially by Bill Clinton. And the new social contract for green business, sustainable matters, and fastest growing case for shareholders is sustainability. You see on all these headlines that after the Lehman crash, the new things, the new business issues pop up also in the US, and you see also the renewable energy is one method or one idea to making more money than in the old economy. And I would introduce some headline, also some remarks on the green economy itself. You cannot solve problems using the same thought process that created it, from Albert Einstein, and that's especially for the green economy. And the problem is not so much that you have the problems to develop new ideas, you have to get rid of the old ideas to develop, to get a new development of society and of economy, and get new, especially when you have a globalization process that we've seen at the moment, who is increasing, everything is increasing and then getting up more speed on the globalization process. And every nation and every economy has problem to keep up with this transformation speed of the current global economy. And the green economy started on the idea come up in the UN business at the Rio +20 conference, that the UN declared that green economy in the context of sustainable development is a chance of poverty eradication and economic development in the framework of sustainable development. And you see explicitly the framework of this new idea of a green economy, and the UN declared that the green economy takes place in the institutional framework of sustainable development and is an approach for achieving sustainable development. And green economy is now seen as an innovation process for achieving sustainable socio-economic development. And that was against this background, we developed our idea to measure the innovation process with the sustainable indicators of the German government. And the UN green economy approach is also supported by the United UN environmental program that stresses that the green economy not only focus on current environmental and economic problems, but also have to address inter and intergenerational issues. And UNEP sees the green economy as a strategic economic policy agenda for achieving sustainable development. And you see there is an enormous step that to just developing sustainability goals. That is one step that started in 1992 at UN level, but now to see, to define a process that you make you capable to reach the sustainable development goals. And the UN green economy concept is mainly built on the weak sustainability concept and the fundamental work of P.S. Pesai and Dasgupta, that you also see that they have on the weak sustainability side is based on economic theory. That's not something developed just by politicians. You have a clear economic theoretical framework for it. And the OECD calls Germany a lab for green growth. We will see in the future if it will, if it's just propaganda or if it will just happen. And based on this UN development, the German government developed their own green economy project. And the government argues that the realization of green economy requires sustainable production and consumption patterns. And we will see during my presentation, we will see how extremely complicated it is to develop, especially for the energy sector, new consumption and production patterns. It's easy to say you need this, and you will see how much money we need to develop such a new consumption and production patterns. To ensure prosperity for coming generation, and an important aspect is the realization of a sustainable energy system. And that is the starting point in Germany, that the transformation process of the green economy is started in the energy sector. And after Fukushima, this process speeded up, but it started in the 1992 and the 90s with the first green sustainable energy ideas and new instruments to build up to windmills and photovoltaics. And you see at the second point that the main goal of the German government is to increase the competitiveness and the resilience of the German society should be sustained by a green economy. The focus is that with a green economy you get a more resilient German society in the context of the globalization. That's the main goal of the government. Because only with the preservation of natural resources and attention to the planetary boundaries will in the long run protect the social cohesion of German society and the green business of the German society. That's the new idea, and we will see how it happens. And you can focus also on the general central theme of the German green economy model. The preservation of the natural resources protects the social cohesion. And before that, in the current globalization model, it was completely wrong. The good social cohesion protects natural resources. So it's a new picture to look, a new way to look at the world. And so the German government, with including resilience in its concept, is building a bridge from the weak sustainability concept of the pure green economy model to the strong sustainability concept by considering the finding of Hollings and his idea of a strong sustainability concept focusing on the resilience of the system and the importance of the planetary boundaries. The resilience of the systems means that the magnitude of disturbance a system can absorb before it flips from one state to another. That means how much pressure the society can cover from the world economy, how much disturbance you can absorb before everyone is flowing. You get in hard trouble. It's the same after the Lehman crash. How much pressures you can survive before every institution breaks down. And the green economy is now an instrument to stabilize the development of the German socio-economic system in a globalized world, and an instrument enhanced by innovations the resilience of the German society. And you see that the green economy is an instrument to stabilize the German society with green products and with sustainable development. We see that the clear focus is social cohesion of society. And with this cohesion, you support also the natural boundaries. And that's the theory that is published by the government. So we will see in the future, and you will see how much it costs to get in this direction. And so we can summarize the German government supports the UN approach for green economy, and the green economy is regarded now as a solution for present and future social problems. And alluding to Dennis Meadows, we can define a green economy is not the place you are going to, it is how you make the journey to sustainable development based on sustainable innovations. And with this definition of innovation, you have a clear direction of the innovation process. You're not just giving money in the system and you look what the research community is doing with this money, or the big firms are doing with this money. The government gives a clear direction what the science community and industry is doing with this money. And you see it, especially in Germany at the moment, there's a clear focus on renewables and the Energiewende when the government is giving money to the research area. There's a clear focus on these new issues. And you see that the sustainable energy system is the central aspect of this transition project in the realization of a sustainable energy system. And the German government sees its current energy transition program as an instrument that boosts green innovation, creates jobs, and helps Germany position itself as an exporter of green technology. And this is for a very important aspect for the German industry, that they can import all the goods to all over the world. And you see that the German Federal Ministry of Economic and Technology will spend 3.4 billion to support research and development. And the latest discussion is in Germany that next year we have election in this discussion about zero emission cars, that you will only allowed to get a new car is only zero emission after 2030. And we'll see this is the time before election or after the election. We'll be with this statement, but at the moment the politicians and the public is discussing this issue. And here you see what everything will cost. And the estimated cost of the Energiewende until 2050 is 550 billion euros. And then in comparison, the German unification since 1990 cost 2 billion euros, 2,000 billion euros. And you see that what a transformation process like the unification, but also the Energiewende, but it's just only a small sector of the German economy, will cost for now the next 35 years. And you see that with all this money going in one direction, it is extremely difficult to go in the other direction, or back to nuclear energy, also when you spend so much money for one direction. And the 550 billion are mainly paid by the German households with their energy bill. So the traditional energy innovation concept is that innovations are the generation, transformation, and the dissemination of improvement and technical alterations. There is a linear traditional innovation comprehension focused just on research and development on the basis of innovation, Innovation are then the sequence of basic research, applied research, production, and diffusion of the new goods. And I will show that on the example of the German energy system that it's a little bit more complicated when you look at the transformation of the German energy sector. To increase the output in innovation, it is just necessary to increase the input in R&D. And when you put there a lot of money, then you get more innovation. But you will see that when you transform the energy system, it's more complicated. The central measures of the green economy innovation system concept is now that the new green economy innovation concept is that the generation and the diffusion of new solutions not only depends on incentives, but also depends on the cooperation of different stakeholders and institutions in the innovation process. And it's really important for the Energiewende and all the energy issues that you have a cooperation between the different stakeholders. It's not so easy that you can just declare in Berlin that we are making the Energiewende and everyone is doing it. The people, you have to convince the people that they go with you. And the stakeholders of this innovation framework are the institution. The culture of the people has to be changed, the policies, infrastructure, education, mediators, finances, research, society, public sector, and the business sector. So, and then with all this, including all these stakeholders, you have a change of the character of innovation in the green economy. In the past, innovation has seen only as technical operation. You get an iPhone 4, and now you get an iPhone 7. That's then the innovation process. The simplification is no longer appropriate. Technical innovation are accompanied by change in not technical systems. And I will show you later how this happened in the German energy system. And the evolutionary process of technological, organizational, and institutional alteration reinforce each other, and we will get new technological paradigms, social innovation. And social innovations are very important when you transform the energy system. The increasing role in social innovation in the innovation process, you have new social relations, new social norms and values which organize in new lifestyles, new production and consumption patterns, have an increasing impact on the innovation process. And here are the examples of energy-related social innovation, not only in Germany, but perhaps sometimes also in the US. You have, especially in Germany, citizens' energy cooperatives, which are organizing and producing electricity. You have now, especially in the younger generation, a stronger focus on car sharing, bicycle sharing, food sharing, urban gardening is really a big issue in Germany, especially in Berlin, like in the US and New York. And you have walking bus, you have the social mobility networks, and you have now multi-generation houses. That means a roof under which multiple generations can live together and learn from each other and producing electricity. Here you have the citizens' energy cooperatives, that are people coming together just organizing windmills or solar power parks and producing electricity. And the citizens are new stakeholders in the German energy transition. And when you look on the market, before the Energiewende is controlled more or less by 4 big companies, and now you have new energy cooperatives are going on the market, and there you will see increasing influence on the market. They pick up electricity production that before has produced by the big firms. And the cooperatives have the advantage to enable citizens to contribute to the Energiewende and to climate protection, and they are one opportunity to make money in local and regional energy projects. And that's really what you see. The difference is that the people are interested in the Energiewende to produce renewable energy and for climate protection, and they have the ability to make money with it. And you see now how the energy cooperatives increased over the years. We just started before Fukushima with 66, and then we have Fukushima and it rise up. And it was 2013. Now I expect we have more than 1,000 energy cooperatives. And all this business that they are doing, all this electricity is produced by them, is going away from the big firms. And the other point is that the people we have 1.5 million PV facilities in Germany on German households. They're producing photovoltaic. And they're producing at the moment 6% of the electricity production. And that's, I think, this 1.4 million facility is the most important support of the Energiewende, because these people can vote. And you can't realize it when you are against the Energiewende, because their people are making so much money with their facilities. When you look at the household budget, they don't vote for someone who will go back to nuclear or a centralized energy system. You see, especially in the northern part of Germany, where you have all the windmills and the energy cooperatives and the PV, that they are strongly supported only these politicians with a strong focus on the Energiewende. And their influence is higher now than that of the big firms. You can summarize their workers and their amount of votes and this amount of votes, and it's clear in which direction it goes. And now in the next part, we have connected the German Sustainable Strategy and the UN Sustainable Development Goals to see how the German strategy, sustainable strategy, fits in the UN Sustainability Goals, which were published last year. And the German government published its sustainability strategy in 2002 for the UN Sustainability Conference in Johannesburg. And the government defines 21 themes for the 21st century. It's a politician paper, so you need a big headline for it, and you have 36 indicators, and you have a strong focus on intergenerational equity, quality of life, social cohesion, and international responsibility. And the government defines with these 4 issues what they understand about sustainable development. And the amazing thing is that this strategy survived every governmental change since 2005. So every new chancellor still stick on this development, and so it has an institutional background that's difficult to change. But you have to keep in mind that this definition is a normative definition of sustainability. The German government defines what they understand about sustainable development. And the only thing that differs when we in Julich try to do the same, that they are approved by the German parliament. That's the difference between when we sit together and making a sustainable strategy that's approved by Moscow University, normally no one cares. But it's defined and approved by the German parliament, and so you have a higher status in the political discussion. And they are making every year, they're making a big conference in Berlin, and every year from Mrs. Merkel show up, and they have a big PR media are coming to the conference and making some news about sustainable development and Mrs. Merkel. And here you have the 4 key issues and the 21 major themes. And when you look at the map and all the issues, I think one thing is missing. When you think about sustainable development, protection of the natural resources, one thing is missing. Does anyone has guessed what is missing? What?
Water quality.
Ah, yeah, water, of course. Yeah, water is missing. I don't know why they have not included water. Perhaps they just were by 21 and they have 21 indicators. Or perhaps, as you will later see, the data is bad for Germany. I don't know. But perhaps it might be that 21 for 21st century, they have finished the line with the indicators. But we included water in our model for measuring sustainability because we think that water is very important for sustainable development. And here you have all the sustainable development goals of the UN that are published last year, also approved by the UN General Assembly, and also have, this is the highest status what you get at the moment for your sustainability strategy when you get approved by the UN. And here you see that all, I would like to say everything, you see the numbers of the indicators of Germany, that they are all, everything is connected to the UN sustainability goals. And can you read it? It's difficult, yeah. And here you see the different indicators, and you see the difference that normally the indicators, the goals are defined for 2020. And only for the energy sectors, the goals are going to 2050. And remarkable is that they would like to reduce the emissions, the CO2 emissions in 2050. The German government would like to reduce to 95%. In 2050, they would like to have 5% of the CO2 emission of 1990. That's, you see, the main goal of this, of the goal, complete energy when the issues are concentrated on the reduction in the CO2 emissions. And that's also the main reason that they're discussing the zero emission cars now in Germany, that because without zero emission cars you won't get to 5%. And the first group of indicators, also the intergenerational issue, is covered by 9 indicators. That's the conservation of the resources, climate protection, renewable energies, land use, biodiversity, national debt, the provision for future economic stability, and innovation, and education and training. And that are issues that the government defined as important for sustainable development. No one else defines that this are important for sustainable development. They all realize that that's the definition of the German government, based on research of scientists, of different scientists in Germany, but that's the definition of the German government, and you see before the definition of the UN, what they think sustainable development looks like. And the second part is that the quality of life, and quality of life is covered by 6 indicators. That's an economic prosperity, mobility, nutrition, air quality, health, and crime. And you see that you have 21 indicators, and you have the quality of life is defined by 6. When you see how complicated the current personal life is, you have 6 indicators to describe your personal life from a sustainable standpoint. But when you think that normally politics is made by 4 or 5, they just discuss the unemployment rate, the inflation rate, the stock exchange, and all these things, and now you're coming with 6, then you have improved the numbers for the political discussion. And social cohesion is described by 4 indicators, and at the moment, at the current development in Germany discussion, the integration of foreign citizens is a very important indicator now. We will see how Germany will get the integration. And you see that the international responsibility is just described by 2 indicators. And only 1 indicator, the first one, the official development aid, is under the control of the German government, and the open markets is just business of the European Union. You can't make your own ideas about open market. You have to be in line with the European Union. And now we included now the new water quality as a new indicator, and the indicators for water quality are the surface water and the nitrate load. And we decided that we would like to take the goals, also the water quality goals from the European Union, because it's also approved by the European Parliament, and you have a democratic structure behind it, and so we're just using this for our goal. And water policy is one of the priorities of the European Commission before the refugee crisis. The Commission has specified its goals in the European Union Water Framework Directive. There are 26 articles and 11 appendices, regulates execution of the framework. And the starting point of the European is that water is not a commercial product like any other, but rather a heritage which must be protected and defended and treated as such. And in Germany, it's really difficult when you talk about water as a commercial product. You get in real trouble with the people. So everyone is now the focus that the German population is in an opinion that it's really a heritage that has to be protected, and it's not a commercial product. But because the drinking water, we are not allowed making money or profit with drinking water. So the European Union tries now to consider the interests of future generations in its environment policy by introducing the full cost recovery concept by determining water prices. This is the same in Germany. The water price equals the full cost recovery concept. There is no room for making profit for the firms. There is a discussion what the full costs are, and that is room for the firms, but that's the main point, and that is supported by the government, by the people. But you have in France, it's completely different. You have three major firms who control completely the whole water market. And among the regulation for implementing measures to prevent deterioration of the status of all bodies of surface water contains the goal of a holistic framework for European water sectors. And the member states shall protect and enhance and restore all bodies of groundwater, ensure a balance between extraction and recharge of groundwater with the aim of achieving good groundwater status at the last 15 years after the date of the entry into force of this directive. And the European Union defines the first targets for the water indicators. And here you see that the water quality of Germany is bad. And we are far away in 2009 from a good or very good state of the surface water. And what's extremely bad is, at the moment, is the nitrate load. Currently, the German government is sued by the European Commission because the nitrate load at the German groundwater is so high in some regions. And that may be one aspect why it's not included in the strategy. And based on this, we developed the green economy innovation model and the indicators to measure the innovation process. And now we have the concepts based on, we have the society, the economy, the education system, the state level, and the science system. And you have the ecology around this will just enable that the development will happen. And in the following, I can show you how all the 21, all the indicators, how it developed over time, and we made also analysis of with the linear regression. And I just would like just to explain once that the difference between when you have R square, you have 0.9, then it's only 10% of the development is assumed that it's not linear. That it's assumed that over time you have a business as usual development, you get to the target. And when the R square is lower, then the not linear development is higher, and then you need more political action to get to the target. That's our interpretation of this equation. And here you see that the primary, that the German government would like to increase the energy productivity and the raw material productivity until 2020. And they would like to reduce the primary energy consumption about 50% until 2050. And here you see the development of the greenhouse gas emissions. And what it makes easier for Germany to get to the 5% is because we started so high. This was the emission of East and West Germany we put together, and they started here. Then it's easier to get to the 5%. Because you have here, you have the shutdown of the East German industry, you lost a lot of CO2 emissions. And here you see the expected unbelievable increase of the renewable energy. We started in the 1990s at the level of nearly nothing. And then you would like to increase from nearly nothing for the percent of the energy on electricity production to 2050 to 80%. And that's and also the percent of renewable energy on final energy consumption. There the curve a little bit lower, and that's the reason because we have included also the discussion about the zero emission cars. And other important aspect is the land use and the biodiversity. And the government would like to reduce the land use to 30 hectares a day. But as you can see here, we're far away from using 30 hectares a day of the land use. And currently we're building new apartments and houses. And I don't expect that we will meet this target. And also the biology, we lost, you see when you started in 1970, the extreme loss of biodiversity in Germany, and it's not expected that we will, because the target of 2020 is below the starting point of 1970. And at the moment it's not clear that we will reach the target. And the success story in some part is the public deficit at the moment in Germany. When you have here the debt GDP ratio, we started about 40, then and for the introduction of the euro, the debt GDP ratio was 60%, and we nearly met this goal. And then we, after the Lehman crash, the debt increased significantly. Only the public finance deficit is, we have at the moment no deficit. We call it a black zero at the moment. There's a discussion in Germany, black zero. And the goal is, that's it's posted in the German constitution, that it's allowed to make a deficit of 0.5. We're not allowed to make more debts than 0.5 of GDP. At the moment we are on this direction. But you see that after Lehman crash we had a lot of trouble to get on this way. And the next point is the integration equity, is the gross capital formation, that in all that summarizes all the investments of German society. And you see that we started very high in 1991, but at the moment we don't reach the level of 1991. Despite all the investment in renewable energy, and the German economy is not investing enough. And that's one reason, because when you have zero debts, that means that there is no demand for money in the economy. And also the innovation, the R&D expenditure in relation to the GDP is the goal of the OECD and the European Union is 3%, and Germany at the moment it's 2.8. We also missed this goal. And one good example is the education process. They started to increase the percentage of people with a completed education, and they increased the university entrance rate, and also the 30 to 35 years old with a university degree. And here you see how far we're away from the goal of the European Union for the water quality. That's a long way to go. And the main reason also for the nitrate load is the extreme intensive German agriculture sector. And it's the same with the mobility, that the German government would like to increase the intensity of good transport and the passenger transport, and to increase the good transport, the rail transport and the ship transport would like to be increased, but they are at the moment far away from meeting any goals. And the other very important aspect is combined to the connection to the biodiversity, is increase the organic farming in Germany. And we have at the moment only 5% of the area is organic farming. In Austria is at 20%. And the goal in Germany is also to reach 20%, but we are far away from that. And you see also still the nitrogen surplus is still too high. At the moment, I would not see how they will meet the goal because of the high intensive agriculture system. And here also you see the air quality, this steep decline here to get to 1995 is also because of the closure of the East German industry. And on this curve that the air quality have increased significantly, and here the government assumed that they will meet the goals of 2020. And also the quality of life is described by premature mortality, smoking, and adiposity. And the premature mortality of women and men has decreased. The smoking rate also, what is no significant change and still increasing, is the adiposity. The Germans are too big, too heavy. And the government also increased the quality of life, the crime, and you see there's a steep decrease of the crime rate in Germany. That's the crimes per 100,000 inhabitants, and it is assumed that the government will meet the goal of 7,000 crime acts per 100,000 people. I don't know what this figure means in international relation. And another aspect is really important for Germany is to increase the employment rate, especially in the age group of 55 to 64. The problem of the moment of the German industry is that they have difficulties to get new high qualified workers. And though there is try to keep the old ones and to increase sometimes to 68 or 70 to get the people at work because they are afraid to lose their knowledge. And one reason is that the retirement age at the moment is 67 and they're discussing about 70. And the main reason is not only the budget of the pension funds but also the loss of the knowledge of the people. And they would like to increase the employment rate of the other groups just because of the demographic development of Germany. They need everybody who can work. And that's the reason why they also include the all-day care for families, that everybody who would like to work in the family can work. And they would like to increase, and they are on a good way to increase the daycare for the small ones until 2 and for 3 to 5 years old. And the main reason is to keep the workforce at a certain level. And what they really missed is the equal opportunities of women and men, that they would like to increase the difference between the gross hourly earnings of women and men. At the moment they are 20%, they would like it to reduce to 10%. And there are a new law at the German parliament at the moment. We'll see in the future. But you see at this curve that there is no real difference over the years. We will see how the new law will change the reality. And that's the indicator is really important for the integration of all the migrants who are coming to Germany, because they would like to increase the percentage of the foreigners with school leaving certificate. And the German quote is at the moment 95. For the foreigners, it's about 86% of the population of the German. 95 of the Germans are leaving with certificate school, and by the foreigners it's 86, and they would like to increase the level of the foreigners to the German level. And now we have nearly 1 million came last year to Germany. We'll see in the future if they get them to this level. And here the last indicator is the official development aid, and the goal of all industrial nations is to spend 0.7% of GDP for foreign aid, and the Germany is about 0.38. We are far away from the goal, but it's for all industrial countries. And here we have I have summarized now the indicators and defined them as endogenous variables of the green economy innovation process. And you see here the cross relation, they are all connected to each other. You can't select one and say that's the indicator which is making the innovation process. You need them all. You need to reduce the crime in society, to get a social cohesion, that everybody can focus on working on making innovation processes and don't just care about the public safety at some point. And that's our idea, that the innovation process is not just simply increase the R&D expenditure of the government. And here that it summarizes this, what I said at the moment of the linear or non-linear relationship. And when you interpret the linear as just the business as usual, we have two indicators with just business as usual to get to the point, and the others have a large part of non-linear sectors, and that means you need a lot of political action to get to the target. And now we have all the indicators, and now when you would like to have at which point at the moment, how far away from a sustainable development process is, and how is the innovating process to meet the goals. Because you only meet the targets with an innovation process. And this is, as a background, why you need measuring sustainable innovation. Because when you just don't measure it, you have just a list of good intention. Then everything is sustainable. One finance minister in Germany talked about sustainable debts, that's on the last point. And you need this measuring system, especially when you look at this frame, that the policy errors will be made and perpetuated forever. When you don't know at which part of your traveling, at where you're on the road, where will you know where you're to go? And that's important also, that when you can measure what you are speaking about and express it in numbers, you know something about it and you can discuss it. When you have these numbers, you can discuss it in the political process. And you need the numbers in a political process. Because the political discussion is just about numbers. Before the migration problem in Germany, we discussed the cost of the Energiewende, and now we are discussing the level of refugees. You always discuss about numbers. And in our view, measurement is very important in this sustainability science, because nothing exists until it's measured, and especially in politics. When you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. You are always, you don't exist when you are not a number in some statistics. And when you measure sustainable development, you have the problem that when you're measuring it over time, that you have this explicit sustainable order of the government. That's the goal of the indicator. And you have and here you see that that's the goal, and then you're below it, that's the unsustainable area, and you have the sustainable surplus. And you see, and when you're making one index, you have the problem how you what you do with the surplus. Is it surplus? Is it allowed to compensate the unsustainable area? And that's we have to discuss, because it depends then on the it has a political implication, because when you have a lot of surplus on one area and you have huge sustainable areas, then the politician just focus on the sustainable one because he knows that he can compensate the unsustainable one. And you have, but when you measure it, you have to decide which method you use. I will just explain it. And the problem is now that you have when you go back to this, you have a normative sustainable order. That means this goal is set by the government and no one else. And you have the other order, that is the implicit or derived sustainable order. That's how the indicator behaves in reality. And these two developments have to fit to each other. And you set it to in relation. And that means when you have a derived sustainable order, that's what you measure in reality, and the goal set by the government is this normative sustainable order. And in this context, the question has to be answered of how an overfulfillment of sustainability goals should be interpreted. The sustainability concept of the German government does not offer a method for solving this problem, as the government does not define the area above the sustainability target line. In the following section, we offer two interpretations how this area could be treated: the sustainable surplus compensation and seen as sustainable surplus compensation. And the first one is that it's not allowed to compensate the indicator to each other. That's most every indicator stands for itself, and that's it goes in the direction of the strong sustainability concept. And the other one is more politician friendly, that you compensate losses with surpluses, and we can even out the indicators. The same thing is the weighting of the indicators, how you weight the indicators. You can at the one time that you weight all equal, all indicators the same. That's the equal indicator method. Or you sum up the indicators to pillars or to the different themes. Then it's the problem that not all, when you have 9 indicators in the one hand, in the one sector, and then 6 and 4 and 2, that the different themes are weighted differently. So you can decide if you all would like to weight the indicator the same or the themes or the pillars the same. You can't have both. And you have so different indicators are the different themes. That's the only thing important, that when you measure something, that you announce it before what you do. That's the main reason for this. I can skip it and explain it. And now we developed the Green Economy Innovation Index. We measure the normative green innovation process. That means whether a sustainable innovation process has been achieved in Germany can be determined by an analysis of all quantifiable indicators of the German sustainability strategy. Every indicator therefore documents an aspect which is, according to the German sustainability strategy, important for sustainable development of the German society. And the index measures the way the German society has to go to meet all the sustainability goals of German society, and the index indicates if Germany reaches a sustainable innovation pathway to get to the green economy and to sustainable development. The index simply measures the sustainability innovation gap of German society, the difference between the targets of a specific year set by the government and its sustainability strategy, and the actual value of the indicator. the sustainable innovation gap determined thereby the distance the German society has to cover to attain sustainable development and the sense of the sustainability strategy. And we now, for our model, for the example I presented today, we have chosen the equal indicator method and the sustainable surplus compensation. And here again the indicators, you have just to look at the bottom, only the sustainable indicator 13, the 30 to 34-year-old with university degrees, they are meeting the goal, they are on a sustainable path. And the quality of life, there the indicators 24 and 25. That's the premature mortality. And the sustainable indicator here is 29. So we have these are the indicators, they are currently sustainable. The innovation process was successful. The 30 to 34-year-old with university degree, premature mortality of women, the development of smoking, and the employment. The German society had reached a sustainable innovation process in these areas. And we now choosing this mathematical form for calculating the Green Economy Innovation Index. We're choosing the product because when one indicator is 0, everything is 0. And that's why that the politician just concentrated on these indicators they would like the most and it's easiest to get to the target and neglect the others. And another thing is that you can weight the indicators by the measuring aspect. You can get them all the same weight, everything is 1, they get all the same weight, or that you have a special focus on innovation, on the innovation issues, and R&D, and then you get a 2, and you get different weights for the development, and then you get a different outcome. But always it's important that the audience knows that you weight them differently, or how you weight, because it has an impact on the outcome.
Sorry, and what's the square? It's W or N in the left? Yes. No. Left. Yes.
That's the sum of the different weights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the sum of weights is bigger than 1?
What?
Sum of weights is
Yeah,
bigger.
when it is the sum of the individual weights, the sum up, and that's the factor here.
Yeah. The factor. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's a normal geometric mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea.
Yeah. Clear. Thank you.
And the Green Economy Innovation Index developed by us calculates the degree to which sustainable development has been achieved. And when the green is below 1, then the development is not sustainable. And it is below or equal 1, then the development is sustainable. And here the key issues of the German sustainability strategy, and you see their development. Do you see any numbers? No. And the lowest are the intergeneration equity and international responsibility. But the point is that most of the goals for the intergeneration equity are from the energy sector, and the target is 2050. And there you have all the targets for 2020. That's the reason why it's normally that when you're in 2016 that you don't meet the goals of 2050 at the moment. That's the reason why it's lower. But you also can separate the indicators to analyze different issues. You can just concentrate on social issues, or only on climate, land, energy, and water, or on the economic sector, or just on energy. And this here is the same when you look at energy. That's the lowest when you just concentrate on energy because of the focus of 2050. And when you just look at the targets of the economic sector is doing the best, and the land, yes, also energy in it, and the social is also not That's just examples how you can use the indicator, the index. So I'm coming to the end now. This summaries, and I add something that the innovation and the Energiewende is one method for Germany not getting driven by the globalization development. But no one knows how Germany will achieve this goal. And the idea is that, but you can't solve the globalized economy and the problems that you're seeing at the moment just by using the traditional model would lead to all these problems at the moment. You have, after the Lehman collapse, you have the oil crisis, you have extremely low oil prices with problems all over the world because you have no inflation anymore, and you see how deflation, you get a lot of trouble when you're in the deflation, inflation. It's much easier for everyone to deal with. When you have a higher oil prices, you get inflation, everything is fine. You have this zero interest rate, nobody knows where we can get out of it. And you have the debts and the climate change, and that's, so, but you need a lot of money to change the way of the development, especially when you look at Germany. So, thank you very much.
But if we turn back to indicators that are sustainable, that ratio to design level higher than 1, they are not really related with green economy. No one of them.
Yeah. In our interpretation, it's clearly important because these indicators are describing the development to the transformation of the German energy system to a sustainable development. And when you describe or define green economy as a transformation process to sustainable development, then the indicators are connected to.
Yes, they are connected, but what are the indicators with the lowest ratio? So you show the highest ratio when sustainability is achieved in terms of indicators, but what indicators are the most problematic in
Okay.
where is the most problem?
Yeah, here you can see, I don't know if you can see it. Here you see, you have the list of, I don't know at the moment, you have the primary energy consumption, they are problematic, but that are all the goals for 2050. You see how far you're away from the, it's on my laptop.
So maybe the targets are very high.
Of course, yeah, because the normal indicators are the target year is 2020, and here is 2050. And that's the reason why at the moment you are so far away from the target. Because the government discusses these new targets, but at the moment before the election, I get the impression that they just concentrate on the energy agenda, on the energy issues, and the other targets will be redefined after the election. Because we have 3 parties at the government at the moment, and before an election you don't get them in line to find targets for crime or something. After the election, no one cares anymore. But every indicator will be discussed in media, every target when you put it before the election. No politician will discuss. The only thing what we discuss about every morning is the refugees.
but this target levels was set taking into account the previous dynamics or its desire of government. It's
Yeah, no, that's just desire. They don't care about the past. In the energy sector, the clear focus is we have to make it. There is no, they would like to have the Energiewende as a success story, and that's the goal. And everyone who is to deal with the Energiewende has to do the ultimate best that it would be a success story. And there's a lot of pressure from the government on all other institutions that they get in line with the goals. Especially when you're getting funding for the energy research funding, there's a lot of pressure that you meet the goals that they've set for the funding for this research area. And you get a lot of funding anymore for batteries because you need the batteries for the wind, for the fluctuation of the wind, and there you get a lot of funding at the moment. Another question?
May I ask you, just understand that this is your presentation is very, say, representative, I would say, and very important for the politicians, especially in Germany. But for the real life, we just come to the land. Somebody should pay for this sustainable development in Germany, for example.
Yeah.
You say that the nuclear energy should be at the zero level in Germany, at the expense, as I presume, of the nuclear energy in France. That's why you cannot develop or at least proclaim that you do not need nuclear energy.
No, we are exporting energy. No, we are exporting electricity. We are not importing. We don't need to.
For sure you're exporting, you don't know what to do with the wind energy. You cannot consume it once. If wind blows and you have a lot of energy, what to do?
Yeah.
You're not able to consume it.
Yeah, but that's the reason why they spend so much money for battery research. You have to store
You understand,
electricity.
you cannot develop metallurgy with the wind energy or solar energy. You have to, in this case, you have to transfer, say, polluting industries in China and use China as a polluting area.
No.
But Germany would be seen as a sustainable green economy.
No. The country who is investing more in renewable energy than Germany is China. They're investing like hell for renewable energy.
Oh.
They have the feed-in tariff system. Take the German
sure,
feed-in tariffs.
If Germany government
and
support pays money for this, why not to invest?
Yeah, but the renewables, increasing renewables in Germany is only possible with photovoltaics coming from China.
What are you going to do
because
with this?
the German households are financing the Chinese production of photovoltaics.
Yeah.
That's an R&D and innovation process. The German households put on Chinese because they're producing with a lot of subsidies of the Chinese government.
Yeah. First, production of photovoltaic panels is environmentally unfriendly process. First, utilization, post-use of these photovoltaic panels, God knows what to do with this. What are you going to do again to transport it to China?
The problem is not
what to do?
This issue. The problem
nobody
is
solve this problem.
No, the problem is the acceptance of the German population.
Yeah.
No,
this is another side of green economy. Normally, nobody would show
that's
this.
the real important thing in Germany. You have the problem in Germany, the public don't accept nuclear energy anymore. You have no chance. The same is when you have carbon capture and storage. In Germany, no way. The political acceptance of the public is so low, you have no chance.
Okay.
Yeah, when you would like to get voted, you're
Yes, I
you're
understand.
politician.
But
You
that's why I
have to-
said that your
that's-
presentation is for the politicians, but for the real life, somebody should pay for this green economy in Germany.
Yeah, this 550 billion is paid by the German population.
I mean in a different way. So this is photovoltaic panels after use, out of use. What to do with them?
Yeah, someone will find something to
Well,
recycle with it.
nobody. There is no technology for the consumption, so utilization. It's the same windmills. The year of
Huh?
5,
Really,
6
no.
years or
Yeah,
10
but-
years. What to do with them?
No,
Thousands.
that's the wrong
It's
view on-
it's not
no,
wrong. I know
no,
this.
when you look at the German discussion, when your voters don't care about these issues, and they made up their mind, they don't like nuclear energy and they don't like carbon capture and storage. And you would like to get voted in the Germans, you are politicians,
Yeah,
and you
I'm
would
not
like to get elected.
I'm not politician. Just
No,
that's why I'm
no,
asking you this.
no,
What
this-
are you going to do with the
Everyone-
windmills
No,
when
everyone,
the period
no,
of
everyone is out.
functioning is over?
Everyone is out of business. When there's some
You dig a hole
no,
and put it there. What to do? Thousands.
Nobody-
Thousands of wind turbines.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Similarly, what to do with the equipment with what you dig oil and gas? What to do with all the chemicals that you insert in land? To do
No, you are.
and the same is with
It's different,
fracking.
yeah, it's
Fracking
absolutely
is,
different.
you have
Sorry.
the same discussion in Germany with fracking. No chance, no chance. We have potential in the northern part of Germany for fracking, no chance.
There is no technology.
Sorry?
For a while, there is no technology
For what?
for used windmills and photovoltaic panels.
For the
No
For the
technology.
moment, there's no technology for identifying what's going on into this fracking under the ground, what you're pouring under the ground. And what will happen when the water is poisoned, which is happening currently in the United States in those regions.
There is
where
no,
this fracking
there is no other way we can use. So we have petrol and all our economy is based on the oil and gas. Huh? But when we say that the wind economy is a line of
Massive
photovoltaic,
and multiple oil spills that you see all
Okay.
the places where.
it's our behavior.
So this is acceptable.
But this
oil
isn't
spills.
behavior, this is our purpose. Spills, it's another story.
Yeah.
My question is somewhat related. Thank you for that very interesting presentation. It has to do with your, I think, the 21st of your indicators, which is open markets. Specifically with respect to imports, it's not clear to me that that necessarily contributes to sustainability. For instance, if Germany is importing products made with oil from Canadian tar sands, then in effect the environmental costs are being externalized somewhere else. I can see that if Germany is importing products that are made in a sustainable way or from a country that has a more demanding sustainability policy than Germany does, it would improve sustainability. On the other hand, if just open markets being open to the imports of any products, regardless of their life cycle and their life cycle history, it strikes me as not necessarily contributing to sustainability, but perhaps undermining it.
Yeah, somehow it was my fault. The main focus of this open market is on the agriculture sector and Africa. That they would like to increase the market share of African products in the European Union, and then to improve the economic condition of Africa. And that's because at the moment the European Union are exporting a lot of agriculture product to Africa and destroying the market there.
For sure.
And then this idea is to reverse this process.
Yeah. Would you mention Holland?
Yeah,
Tomatoes
that-
to Africa.
And that's the discussion about the open markets, and that's the reason why it's on the international responsibility and and also the same part of public aid.
Can I follow up? I think that that's helpful, but it doesn't, how do you account for the environmental impact of imported products in other sectors, where that may have been produced in the home country in a way that would not be permitted in Germany?
Yeah, but this indicator don't measure that. You can measure the ecological, we call it rucksack, or backpack of the CO2 emissions which are going with the product. You can measure this when you look at the social conditions and with the product. But at the moment, this is not, that's a byproduct. I would say that this indicator is a byproduct of this strategy. It has no real relevance. Because the open market issue is what I said before, it's not under control of the German government. It's politics of the European Union. They decide what they understand of open market. Who is associated to the European Union, we will get some rights to reduce the tariffs for exporting things to the European Union. That's totally business. That's the reason why there are no goals. They just declare, the German government, they are in favor for open markets. That's all. And you see how far away we are from the public aid. We are not meeting the target of 0.7% of GDP. Some more questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.